interesting. It is the start of your role and also your collaboration as a team together. All right, so before I start, I would just like to for us to note some few house rules. Please, let's be muted because the session, as you know, is being recorded, and let's keep our cameras off to avoid distractions. Also, opportunities for clarification will be provided at the end of each process, but I will advise we keep it to a minimum because we have a lot to cover tonight, and you know the time really is not on our side that much. So please, regarding the questions, is either if you don't want to forget your questions, just you can put them in the chat box, or you can just note them down on a paper, and then when we finish, you can ask them. Like I said, at every at the end of each process that we go through, we'll be able to look at that. Okay, so. All right, so tonight we're looking at what this topic is about, Azure board setup. What is it all about? Okay, what is a project board? What is the purpose of a project board? What is Azure DevOps itself? And then how do you set up your project board on Azure DevOps? Those are the things that we want to look at tonight. Okay, so a project board or project boards, they are centralized resources that provides visual and transparency for the team's workflow, and it increases the effectiveness in managing the work. You know, they are collaborative tools that the team uses in order to collaborate. It gives, like we said, transparency. It shows the flow of their work. Okay, and the purpose of the project board is for the team to be able to, you know, interact and then to plan work. You're able to track your work that you're doing as a team. You're able to review your work, and then you're able to manage your project in order for you to achieve the goal that the project has within the set time or the timeline that the project has. Okay, so one of your project a project tool, yes, is Azure DevOps, and also you can create your project board on Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is a website that can be accessed through a web browser, which provides a set of integrated features that can be used in planning, developing, and maintaining a software development lifecycle. Also, it's not only software development lifecycle that uses Azure alone now. You have some services run as projects now that even uses Azure to do their own collaborative work also, that teams use to do their collaborative work. So it's not really limited to software development alone. Quite good, suited for software development, but there are other projects, like I said, that are using it now. Also, the services projects are also using it now. Also, Azure DevOps it's a cloud computing platform provided by Microsoft that can be accessed from anywhere in the world. Okay, so you don't have to be co-located in a particular place to be able to use Azure DevOps, because it's cloud computing platform based. So you can be in a team and be anywhere and still be able to access your board. You can be in anywhere, Australia, India, US, anywhere you can be, UK, anywhere the team can be, they can have access to the same board. Okay, and it provides an opportunity for every team member, you know, to be able to work together. It gives transparency, like I said earlier on, to the work that is being carried out, and helps the team, you know, to collaborate. So that's some of the things you get on Azure DevOps. So when you join an organization, as you have now joined Blue Sky Citadel, you are added as a user to the organization's Azure board. Okay, and with your own registered email address. And then when this is done, you will receive a link that would help you to be able to join the board. Okay, so for us, what we'll be covering regarding the setup today would include how to create your project. We'll look at how you invite your members, create inherited process, change team process to the created inherited process. We'll look at the dashboard setting, how you change your default setting on iteration, how you change your team configuration, you know, the backlog navigation level. We'll see everything where we go do the practical aspects. So just to quickly touch on all the areas that we would cover tonight. We'll see how you configure your project board to include more columns, configure the PBIs and bug cards to include more fields, more states, layout. We look at how you create and add widgets to your dashboard, how you get widget from the extension gallery, which is the marketplace for Azure, and then look at how you create your wiki page and also how you set up your retrospective, but hopefully we'll be able to, you know, get to all these places. Okay. So once you're added as a user onto any organization's Azure DevOps board, you would get an invite. So this is an example of an invite that you're looking at, that this is what you're looking at for in your email. Okay, so don't look for an email that has been sent to you by Blue Sky. That email will be sent to you by Azure DevOps. Okay, and what Azure DevOps is telling you is that your organization, and then it will tell you the name of the organization. So this is not the name you're going to get. I will show you the link that is going to show you, and then it will expect you to join. So all you need to click on is the link to say join now, and then you follow the process. So this is the email I expect you to look out for when you're looking in your inbox or your spam for the organization, okay, to join, to look for the link that you use to join. So you don't look for anything that comes from Blue Sky. You're looking for an email that is from Azure DevOps to you, right? And then this is the URL. So the invite you're getting from Azure will have Blue Sky Citadel team at the end of it. Once you get that, you click on the join, and like I said, you follow the normal process to join where you're supposed to join. Okay, so another thing I need to tell you is once you get to a stage where during your follow-on process, the step-by-step process after clicking on the join now, once you're able to see this, when you have this on your board, it will say, oops, something went wrong. Nothing went wrong. You're in the right place and you've done the right thing. Okay, so a lot of people will see this and say, oh, I'm having problem. I don't have access. It's telling me that what this is saying is that you're already in the organization, because if you look up here, you will see Blue Sky Citadel team. So that tells you you're already inside the organization. What you're not on yet is you're not on a project, and that is why it's flagging this up. Okay, and that you being on a project is going to be done by the Scrum Masters after this training. So once you see this, just know that you're already sorted. And the moment you get put on a project, when that is done, you would definitely be able to just go in through the same process and get into your project itself. Okay, so once you see this, if some of you are saying this now and you think something is wrong and maybe that's why you're reaching out, just know you've done the right thing already and you're sorted already. Okay, all right. So that is that. So I'm just going to stop sharing and then share the board again, and we'll go to how we set up a project. So bear with me. Okay, so this is the Blue Sky Citadel team organization. Yeah, we're there now. So once you get in, you might not see all this. I'm seeing all this because I'm part of the admin. Okay, you might not see all this, or you should be you should be able to see it when you get in, or you might be seeing just your own project alone. Okay, but you might not see all this, but we want all of you at least to be able to get to this stage first. And then once your project is created, we would be able to configure it so that you'll be able to see like everything that I'm seeing right now. So who creates the project board? Most times is the Scrum Master that creates your project board. Okay, so Scrum Masters, there are times when you're joining an organization that is a team that's already started. Maybe you're taking over from another Scrum Master. Okay, so if that is the stage you're in any organization you join, you won't be creating a new project board for them because they have a project board they're working with already. So you're just joining and then carrying on monitoring the board that has been in place already. But it's good for you to also know how to create a project from scratch in case you are joining a new team that doesn't have a project board yet, and they will be expecting you as a Scrum Master to know how to create a project board. Okay, so that's why we're taking it from the scratch. And then it also helps, even if you're joining a new team, once you know how to create it from scratch, you'll be able to know how to maneuver yourself, all over the board, or what you need to do, what you need to know. You'll be able to know what you need to do. And most times, once you join, you might not have permission on your own personal login details to be able to see some things or to be able to carry out some functions. So permission might be given to you later on, which is what we will do over here, but we're not going to give permission to your personal email. We're going to give you an admin account with the details which you can log in with in order for you to be able to carry out some functions which you won't be able to do normally if you don't have that permission or on that authorization to be able to do it on the board. Okay, so for you to create your project, okay, before I go into creating the project, so far, I hope everybody understands so far.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Thanks
please.
for that. All right, so for you
Yes,
to
please.
create your project, if you look at the top right over here, you can see new projects there. Okay, so what you need to do is to click on that. That will be highlighted, that you can see it will be highlighted in new project. If you use your own login details now and you come here, you won't see this because your personal login details doesn't have the permission to see this. So this will have been disabled on your own personal login details. But if you have the right permission, which as a tutor I have, that's why I'm able to see this. And it's highlighted in blue for me to be able to click on it. So we're going to create a project now for this training, just to show us how to do it. So once you click on that, what you will see is this pop-up page that says create new project. So we're just going to put a project name there. So let's say, what are we going to call it? Let's call it 2023 day. Sorry, let me capital letter. 2023 day. Okay, so description is optional, but we can just put a description there. I put it so description there to training intents on project board creation. Okay, and then when you come here over to visibility, you have the public one and then you have the private one. Okay, there are two types of the project on the Azure DevOps. You have the public project and then you have the private project. With the public project, when you click on it, as you can see what it's written, it says anyone on the internet can view the project. So if you click, if you enabled the public one, anyone that has the URL and places that URL in a browser, they're able to see everything in that organization or on that project. They're able to see it. So you want to click on the private one. By default, once you click on new project, what you have enabled is the private one. As you can see, I wasn't the one that clicked this. It was there by default when I clicked on new project and we got here. Okay. And what the private one does is anyone with the URL, even if they put it on a browser and they enter, it's going to ask them for login details. Okay, so with the public one, is visible to everyone. No login is required. Like I said, you once you have the unique URL and you put it on any browser, it's open to anyone. It's open to everybody to be able to see it. But when you have the private one, it's visible to limited users. It's only the people that has the URL, the URL, yes, the login details, and has been added as users to that organization that are able to have access, to it. So and you use this one for non-public software development projects. So you can see that has been highlighted there. Then we want to scroll down and open up the advanced that you have here. So at the bottom there, you have advanced. So it's normally closed. So you have to click on it in order to open it up. Then you scroll down and then you have the version control over here, which is Git. And that is what, okay, so I'm just going to open it up. So you have Git there, and then you have team foundation version control. So the team foundation version control is the old system that Azure used to use, and some of their users are still using it, and that's why they've left it there. Okay, but the new one is Git, because with Git you can use it anyway. With Git also, it's cloud-based, and that is why that has been added to it. So you can integrate your GitHub into it. That's the version control that by default is there, and that is the one we're going to keep to also. And then you come to the work item process. So when you click on that, you have Agile, you have Basic, you have CMMI, you have Scrum. These are all processes. And then you have other processes. All these are inherited processes. So we just want to stop with the 4 that comes with Azure normally, and that is the Agile, Basic, CMMI, and Scrum. So because you are a Scrum team, the one you're going to pick is Scrum. So we're going to pick Scrum as the work item process that we want to follow. And once all that has been done, you create your project board. So we're going to click create, and then you're going to see our project board in a few minutes. Okay, so that is the project that we've created. That's the project board for 2023J internship training. Sorry about that, internship training. So that's our project board that has been created. Okay, so do we have any questions at this stage before we move to the next level? Any questions so far? None? All right, thank you.
So maybe you should have enabled us to be able to do it as we're doing it as well.
No, we will waste time if we do that. This is being recorded, so you can watch the recording to do that. Yeah.
Sorry, question, please. So as you've set it up now, like you made a mistake with the training, can you go back and?
Yes, I'll show you where you can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
All right. Okay, so maybe let me.
Please,
okay.
hello. Before you go ahead, please, I just want to find out the 2 options you gave us for the private and the public. Which one is better?
If you're working for an organization, definitely it's private. You won't pick public because you don't want your projects to be known by everyone. Most organizations will pick private, and that is why I think by default also Azure has picked the private one. So definitely you pick the private one, not the public one.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Sorry, Mudi.
Okay, hello? So this will be the last question before we move ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted if you can clarify the role of the gate, please.
The role of who? Sorry.
Version. You say version control somewhere. So version control somewhere.
Yes.
When you were setting up, yeah, and there was 2 options there. So please, I just want to know. Yeah, gate and another one. I don't know what. Yeah, just wondered if you can explain of the role of that gate, please.
Okay, so during your QA training, they will teach you what GitHub is all about. Yeah. So this is not part of the scope for this training. Just know that you can pick the Git version control. But once you're doing part of your QA training schedule, you will be taken through that process. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so for you to invite your members, onto your board, all you have to do is you click on invite there. Okay, so before I go ahead to explain, I need to explain some things regarding your team members. So your team members would have already been added onto the organization as users. Okay, so it's like you're working in an organization now, and there is no way you work in an organization that you don't have your ID already. Yeah. Everybody has an ID. Once you are employed in an organization, they give you an ID, and that means that you have access to the organization. You're able to come in, you're able to use your ID to touch things, to come in and all that. The same happens on Azure. So once you are a member, just as you're a member of this organization called Blue Sky Citadel, yes, you have the right to be a user on the Azure DevOps organization. Okay, so that's why I said every team, everyone, every intern has been added already to the organization as a user. All right, so you're not adding your team members to the organization, to the Azure DevOps organization. What you're adding them to is your project board. And that's what I just want to show us how to go about. Okay, so I'm just going to add some people to my own organization right now. Yeah, I'm going to pick Laomi. I'll add Laomi to my organization. You see that before I finish typing her name, it will come up because she has already been added as a user onto the organization. So once that comes up, I pick her as a user on this particular project. Okay, I want to pick Bolu also. So before I finish typing, Bolu's name will come up, and then I'm able to add her also that project. All right, let me see who else. Okay, I want to add Abimbola also to this organization. The moment I start typing, I see her name. And also you might have more than one person. So you have to know the email of the person that you're adding onto your project. So most time I'm picking them because I know them already. Okay. So for you, definitely you're going to ask your team members for their email. Once they give you the email, by the time you start typing the email, the same way that as I start typing names, you can see different names coming up. Once you start typing their email, it will bring it up, and just make sure you're picking the right person so that you don't add a wrong person onto your project, because you will have names that are more than one, more than 2, 3 in the organization. So you have to use the email. So I can see 3 Abimbola, but I know this is the person I want to pick because I know our email already. Okay, so I'm going to add that also to the project board, and then I'm just going to add 2 more. Let me add Deji, this project also. Okay, so you can see Deji there. I'm going to add Deji also as a member of this project, and then I'm going to add that also. Okay, you can see that I've added that also. So those are my team members, and you can see they added to the team, the project. Yeah, that is my team. They've been added to that, and all I'm going to do is to say add, so that it adds them to the project. Okay, so yeah, and you can see success, add 5 users to 1 team. Okay, so if you scroll down over here, you're able to see all the members that I've added. Those are the people that I've added, and that's me that created the project over there, and it's saying 6 members. You can see that there. Okay, so once you've added your members to your project, the next thing we want to do is to go and make some, there are some default setting that comes with you creating your project that you need to configure before you go ahead. So for us to do the configuration, set things the way it suits our team, what we need to do is to go to project setting at the bottom of the left panel. So this is your left panel, and then you're going to the bottom of the left panel where you have project setting over here. Okay, so when I click on project settings, it brings me here. Okay, somebody was asking earlier that can you correct when you make a mistake? Make a mistake with the project name. Yes, you can, and you can do that here. Where you have the name, I can come back here and remove one of the I's that are there. Then it will tell me to save it. After doing that, so I'm able to save it. Okay, so it's asking me the current name is this, and it's asking me the new project name. So I'm just going to repeat the name that I have, the right one, to there. Okay, so that is the name. I understand the consequences of name changing. Yeah, until you click that, it won't tell you, it won't allow you to save. So once I've done that, I'm able to save it, and that name is corrected. That name will be corrected. As you can see, that has been corrected. Okay, so that's a way you can, if you make a mistake while you're writing your team member's name or your team's name. Okay, so that's a way that you can correct it before going further. All right, so we want to look at how we're going to, okay, so right now we're going to create an inherited process, and I'll explain what that is. So you create an inherited process, and this allows you to configure your project board to suit your team. So you join an organization, they're all using this project, this tool, Azure DevOps, and you have different teams on it, and all the different teams you have on it, let's assume you have about 10 teams that are using the Scrum process, okay? And each team wants their own project board to be configured in such a way that it will suit their members. Maybe their members are going to tell them, oh, we need so to be in our own project board. We need so to be in our own project board. Whatsoever configuration you make while you're still on the main Scrum process, it affects all the projects that are on Scrum process. And that is why you create an inherited process. What that means is you're saying that, you know, take mine out to configure this particular way, not the whole Scrum, but I want to inherit a process that is solely for my team, in order that any configuration that we do is, you know, is unique to our own project, and not to all the projects that are on the Scrum process. So that's why you create an inherited process. Okay, so we're going to do that right now. And to do that, all you need to do is to come over here where you have Scrum. Just click on this Scrum. You can do it over here. Once you do it over here, it goes to the organization. So let's do that. If you click on Scrum over there, yeah, just wait for that to come. So you can see it says all process. It's saying that this project board that we created is on what? Is on Scrum. And like I said, we want to remove it from Scrum and create an inherited process to it. So to do that, what we need to do is to click on this Scrum. Oh, sorry, we click on all processes, sorry. So once you click on all processes, you can see that the one that is highlighted like a light blue is the Scrum one, because that's the one that the project is on. Okay, and then you can see that you have right now you have 2 projects on that Scrum. So you click on this ellipsis over here in front of the Scrum. You click on this ellipsis here, and then you will see a little pop-up, this little box coming up, and you can see create inherited process. So I'm going to click on create inherited process, and it will give you a bigger pop-up box, okay, or page, and then you're able to create your inherited process for your project. So we can create an inherited process. You need to give it a name, and it's better to give it the name of your project. So, you know, the name of our project is 2023. Okay, so we can give it 2023. Everything has to be together. So 2023 J training, and then with Scrum. Okay, so if your team, maybe let's assume your team name is Magnum, so you can make your own inherited process. I'm just using it as an example to be Magnum Scrum, and you write all the words, both the Magnum and the Scrum together. You don't create space in between it. If it is Platinum that is creating their own inherited process, they can do Platinum Scrum. Okay, that's just an example for names that you can give your inherited process. All right, and then where you have description here, you can just say so configure project board to suit team. Okay. Please, let's stay muted, please. Okay. Once you've done that, then you create the process at the bottom over there. Okay. So the process has been created. Yeah. But it doesn't end there. So you can see that the process we've created, there's no project underneath it, is 0. So that means our project is still where? Our project is still here. So in order for us to change our process, to change from the main Scrum into the inherited process that we've created, what we need to do is to go to projects. If you come to project over here, okay. Okay, and then we go to, bear with me, where is our project now that we created? 2023, yeah, is at the top here. So we pick our project over there, and then we go to where it is as, sorry, bear with me. Okay, we go to the Scrum process again. Okay, we come here and then you go to the header where you have the header up here that says project. You click on, you select project, you click on projects. Okay, so these are the two projects that are under the Scrum process. And this is our project that we want to change. Okay, so you come to the you come to the three ellipses that are here, you click on them, and then you can see change process. So you click on the change process, and then you look for the inherited process that we've created. That's what we want to change this to right now. So we're going to look for the 2023, yeah, this is it, 2023 J training Scrum. That is the inherited process. And what we're saying is this is what we want our project to be right now. And then you save it. And you close it. And once that is done, what you will see now is that there's just one project on Scrum now because we've taken ours away from there. So there's only just one project on Scrum. If you want to go and check where our project is right now, if you go to all processes over here, okay, and then let's look for our project now. So the inherited process, that's our inherited process. Remember, it was 0 before, but because we've changed it, there were 2 here with Scrum before, it's now 1 because we've taken the other one that is there and we've added it to our inherited process. So our inherited process is here. If you want to be sure also, if you go back to your project, as our project, if we click on our project and you check the process, you can see that it has changed from Scrum to 2023 J Training Scrum, which is the inherited process that we've created for it at this junction. Do we have any question before we go forward? Any questions? Okay. All right, we're just going to go to some, like I said there were some default setting states that we need to change before we can, go ahead and set up our board. So the first one that we're going to do is to go to the project configuration. If you come to the project configuration, your project configuration is on the left panel. Under where you have your project settings. So you have 2 panels on the left. There's a little one in this corner, okay, with different icons, and there is one here under project settings. Okay, so you can see that the project setting is for our project process, which is our project name, which is 2023 J internship training. Okay, so we want to configure or reset the default that is at our project configuration. So we want to configure our projects properly. So we're not going to come here, we're going to go to area. So once you click on project configuration, just then you click next on areas at the top over here. Okay, so everything I think here is okay. So once that is, then the next place we want to go to is the team configuration. So when we go to the team configuration, this is our board now that we're configuring. So when we go to the team configuration, we'll see the backlog navigation. So your backlog navigation, the way it comes by default is just enabled the features and the backlog items. So the backlog items, those are your stories, your PBIs, your product backlog items. You can see that the epic has not been joined to that navigation process, and you want to enable it so that when your BAs are writing the stories, they can link the epic to the feature and also to the user story. That's why we want to enable the epic over here. Okay, so we're just going to enable that, and also your working days. You enable your working days. So right here in this organization, Blue Sky Citadel, that you are you've now become a staff, an employee in, it's Monday to Sunday. Your working days are Monday to Sundays, not Monday to Friday. Okay. So we're going to enable also, please bear with me. We're going to enable Saturday and Sunday also. Okay, so once that has been done under general, we're going to go to iteration, which is the next one beside general, in order to also enable some, reset some defaults that came with the board creation over there. Okay, so this is where you are. This is general, highlighted in blue. So we're going to go to iteration over there. And what we want to change in the iteration page is the defaults that came with iteration. So the default iteration says current iteration. Now, if we don't change this, if we leave it the way it is right now, what happens is every time you are in sprint and the BAs are creating the stories in the backlog, those stories automatically go into your sprint. And they are not meant to go automatically into your sprint because what is inside your sprint is what you've planned for and what you've committed to. So the new stories they are writing are not meant to go into the sprint. But if you leave the default state, they would automatically go into it. So for us to change that, you would come here, click on change, and then put it on your area path. So this is your area path. Your team name is your area path, just like your backlog iteration. You leave it there so that you know that anything they are creating goes into the backlog. It doesn't go into the sprint. And then once you've picked that, you have to click on set. So if you just pick it, you don't do anything, you leave this page, you've not changed it. So like if you click on set, it's like saying save it. You're saving it because you're changing it. So that is the only one you change. So that anything, like I said, any story created by default doesn't go into that current sprint. It stays in the backlog iteration. So you change it by default. You understand to that? So that is what you do with your team configuration. We go to areas just to check. There's nothing we need to change there because everything by default is coming to the area path. So that's fine. And then with the template also, this is what you have with your templates. Okay, so with your templates, we would look at backlog item. No, we're not changing the templates the way they are. Okay, so that's not what we do at this stage. So we will leave this the way they are. So we've checked the areas, everything is fine. We'll know what we've done during iteration and we know what we've done doing at the general page, everything that we need to do. Okay, so at the bottom here also, you want to set how your bug is going to be, how you're going to work with your bug during the sprint. Okay, so by default, it comes with bugs are managed with requirements. Okay, so what that is telling you is that your bugs are managed with the user story. So you're able to create bugs once the KWAs are working with on the user story. They are able to create bugs with the user stories, the work with the requirements, and that is what we want to do. Okay, we don't want the bugs to be managed with tasks. We want them to be managed with the user story. So we're going to keep to that comes by default. And also here, the last option you have here says bugs are not managed on backlogs or boards. So that means bugs are not managed on that board, project board. And we don't want that. We want the QAs to be able to create bugs in line with the stories that they are working on. Okay, so we're going to leave that the way it is. And so that is our team configuration said. That has been said. So do we have any questions, please, before we go to the next thing? At this stage, do we have any questions from anyone? Okay.
Sorry, a request.
Yeah, quick one.
Is it possible for you to enlarge this your cursor a little bit and make it darker? I can hardly see it moving. It's the same color as the background.
You can hardly see
your cursor, wherever you point it to. It's too tiny and it's white like the background. Maybe you can make it dark or a bit bigger. The cursor
I don't know how to make the cursor bigger than what it is.
Oh.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so maybe I'll just need to shake it more so that you can see it moving. Will that help? Because already wherever I put it, I'm describing wherever it's going to. So that should suffice if you follow the description, yeah, of what I'm saying, and just follow through with that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do also is to customize our work item types. We want to customize our PBIs, our bugs, and our tags. Okay, so we want to just customize them. Like I said, we're customizing things for each project. Okay, so for us to do that, we are on project settings, because you're made to go to the project settings, and then we're already on the project settings. So we need to be on our, okay, so let me just go back to overview. I'm going to go to overview page because I need to click on the process in order to do that. So we come back to the process over here. Did you see where the overview is? The overview is on the left panel under project settings. You have project settings at the top, and the first you have there is general. Yes, so under general you have overview. Yes, so that was what I clicked on from where I was. I was initially on team configuration. Okay, and then I moved from there to go to overview over here because of the next thing we needed to do. And I click on the overview, and I have the overview page over here. Okay, that's in order for me to go to the process. Okay, the project process, which you will find on the right panel underneath your name, underneath your description box. The next thing you see is your process over here, and then you click on the link. Okay, so you can see what we want to customize are the work items types, and then you can see the work item types over here. Okay, so what we want to do right now, let's start with the product backlog item, and then we'll just work our way to the other one. So if we click on this, if you click on the product backlog items, which is the same as your user story. So when they are just an item without the description, the acceptance criteria on them and everything, they are your product backlog item. And then once the BAs are put the description and the acceptance criteria, they put the stories inside it, comes your user story. So some still calls it the product backlog item, and then some calls it user stories. Okay, so we're saying the same thing. You can just be using interchangeably. Okay, so when you come here, you have the layout at the top here. So you might want to customize the layout. So this is the layout that comes with the PBI by default. Okay, so when you open your PBI, if you go and create a PBI right now, this is what you will have inside. This is the layout that you have inside already. Okay, and then we want to customize. That right now. Please bear with me. Okay. Right, so you might decide to you want to add some fields to what you have here already. So what you need to do underneath where you have layout, you can see where my cursor is over here. You have new field for you to add a new field to it. So if I click on new field, it brings this page up for me. Okay, it's asking use an existing field. All right, so you might use an existing field or you create a field. So you can create a field. Maybe you want to add a field for your BAs, your developer, so that they're able to put their name in, so that when you're looking at that story, you will know the BA that worked on it, or the BA that the QAs that worked on it, and also maybe the developer that worked on it. You're able to add those more features in here. Okay. And to do that, you just put the name that you want to call that particular field that you want to add to your layout. So let's assume we want to add, I'm going to add a DA, data analyst, because they're working on the project. The other ones, they're already used. So I'm just going to pick data analyst. Okay, and then this type, you change it from a single text to identity. Then it's able to pick people up. What it will do is once we finish creating it, we will check it out later on when we go on the board and create a project. Then you're able to see the name of the people you want to pick. So this is optional. You can put a description there. You might not put a description there. It's optional. But let's say you want to put a description, you can say to identify team member. So if you put to identify team member, you use that as the description of that. Then you add field. Okay, so that is the field that we've just created right now. Okay, so when you want to create a field, all you need to do is just click on the new field, and then it gives you the open box. Okay, you click on the new field, it gives you the open box. You create a field, you put the name of the field, you change this also. If you wanted to pick someone from the list of your members, you change it from single line to identity. Then it's able to give you a drop down list of people once you're there, and then you pick the person that you want to use. And like I said, the description is optional. You might put it, you might not put it in there. So that's how you add a field to the layout. Okay, so but mainly where I want us to go to is the state. So if you want to add more states to this product backlog item, this is where you come to. So beside layout, you have state. So you just click on states. From layout, it was on layout before, and then you just click on the state. Okay, and then to add new state also, you click on a new state. So right now, what we have, I'm going to close this and show you. Right now, what we have on our bot column that has come by default is you will have Adibin. We go there first, or maybe okay, let's go there. All right, let's create this, and then I'll show you what we've done later when we go on the bot. So right now, the bot you have by default is the new bot. You have the approved bot, you have the committed, you have the done, then you have removed. Those are the states that are there by default. So if you want to configure to have more states configure more states and customize it to your project board, all you need to do is you create new. We click on new. So we want our BAs to have their own column, and then we want the states to show for them. Okay, so we will have in BA. Okay, so when we put in BA there, it's not in progress, because in progress means is a state after committed. It shows, okay, anything in progress means things that are committed to, and BAs don't work during the sprint. Okay, so we're not going to put them in progress. We're going to put them in proposed. Remember, they write the stories, and they still need to get the stories approved or signed off by the product owner. Okay, so we want it to be proposed. So they are proposing that story before it gets approved. Okay, so we're going to create that one, and then we're going to create another state for them. Remember, in BA means that they are in that state they are working on it. So we want to create another state that we're calling BA done. So once the BA completes writing a story, once their story has met the definition of done for a BA and definition of ready for the team, then they move it to another state. Okay, so that state also is not in progress, it's still proposed. What they're saying is, oh, we're supposed to write this requirement, write it as a story. I've written the story out. When they're writing it is when it's in BA, and like I said, when they've completed it, they move it to it. There's another state which is done. Okay, we're going to create that also. Okay, so we have approved states where the BA, okay, something wrong. What I've created now didn't show. Okay, undefined error code while attempting to connect. Okay, all right, I'm just going to do that again because I think was, okay, bear with me. Propose, create. All right, so we've been able to do that. You can see is in BA done. So we have the when the stories in the backlog is new, when in BA that's another state, in BA done is another state. The next state after in BA done is the approved state. After the approved state, you have the committed state. So you can see all the colors here are gray. gray-ish because it's not active. That's why they are gray. But when you come to in progress, you can see that committed is highlighted in blue. So we need to create more columns for in progress. So we're going to click on new states. And what we want there is after we've committed to the work, once the work is in the committed state, the first person that picks the work to work on, another state we want is the developer. So we want to create a state for the developer. We call that in dev. Okay. We call that in dev and we'll leave it at in progress because it has been committed to now. That those are work in progress that is being carried out. Okay, so that is in the right category. And then once you click another one, we put it as, who can tell me what the next one should be based on the way we've created the BA one. Remember the BA one, we have in BA and BA done. So what is the next state we need to create after in dev? Anyone?
That should be dev done.
Dev done, thank you. So we have the next one as done. Again, the category is in progress. Yeah. Then we create that also. And then the next, who is the next person that works after the developer? Anyone?
QA.
The QA.
Okay, so what would the name of this one be?
In QA.
In QA, thank you. So we have an in QA that's also still in progress. We create that. And then the new one would be what? The next one would be what?
QA done.
QA done, thank you. And that is also still in progress. Okay, so once the queue is finished, the next person that works on the story, can anybody give a guess? Anyone? So the developer develops the QA test, everything is passing fine. They moved it to QA done. Who picks it up to work on? Can anyone guess?
UAT.
Thank you. So this one now will be what?
In UAT.
So this one would be, we can create in UAT and UAT done, or we can just have UAT so that once the UAT is done, it goes to the done column. But at times we want to know that the UAT on it has been completed, or if there's still a pending situation because of one thing or the other. So I would advise, or I would create mine to have in UAT. Yeah, in UAT. Okay. And then we also have another column for UAT done. Okay, and the next state after that is the completed. So once UAT is done, you move it to the done, the completed column state. So those are the states you want to create, before you go and create your board also. And you will see why we have to do this right now before we go to do anything else on the board. So concerning the rules, really you don't do anything concerning the rules. The organization set the rules. The rules are mostly the governance and all that to customize how the Azure board is being done. So you don't need to do anything except if you need to create a new rule. But like I said, apart from you being an administrator of your project board, you don't want to add anything to the organization that the IT department of the organization has not put on it. Some would disable this aspect out so that you're not able to, customize what you're not meant to customize on it. So we're going to leave this part. We're not going to do anything concerning this page. So once we're through with all this right now, we go back to our projects, because the one we've worked on is our backlog, isn't it? Product backlog item. And we also want to look at the work item type. We want to look at our bug. Let's go to our bug next. Okay, so in our bug, we're not going to do anything on the layout. Again, if the keywords say, oh, we would like these to be in our, our bug layout and all that, you know how to do it, you know where to come to do that. But right now, we just want to add states to our bug. So in our bug also, you can see we have new, we have approved, we have in progress, okay, and then we have completed. So we want to create some state here. We want a situation where if our bug is in progress, we have it as active. Okay, so what we need to do is we click on the new state, and then the name we're giving this is active. So we're saying that book is active. Okay, like I said, we want it to be in progress, but we want to change the color because bugs they're red, so we want it to be red. We don't want it to be blue. So all you need to do is to click on this drop down you have here. It gives you different colors that you can change to. Yeah, and then we can just pick a red for our bug because that is what we want. Once our bug is active, we want it to be showing red. And once we've done that, you just click on create, and you can see over there. So on your bug, when your bug is in progress, it will be showing active. Okay, and another state we can create on our bug is we want to create closed. So closed means, oh, that bug has been closed. So we put closed there. Yeah, we still want it to be in progress. I'll tell you why. We still want it to be in progress, and then we want anything closed, we want it to have green, but we don't want it to have the same green as completed. So we can make its own green lighter. Okay, and then once we have that, we can create that also. So as you can see, it's still under closed. Yeah, it's still under in progress, even though it's closed. So what we're saying there is, once the bug is live, if the developer is still working on it after the QA created it, if the developer is still working on it, fixing it, once it's fixed, the developer moves it to dev done, it's still active. The QA picks it from there, tests it, it is still active. And then once the QA tests it and everything is passing, everything is okay, the QA now can put it in their own QA done, and that is when we want it to change to close. So at QA done, what the QA is saying is, I've closed this bug that I created. It has been worked on, it's no more active, it's closed. Okay, before it's taken to the completed column. All right, so we've done that for the bug. And then if we go back to our work item again, we want to pick the task. And in the task, we're not changing the state. What needs to be in the task is what is there you have to do in progress and done. That is the state that has to be. What we want to do is to add some layout over here. So the layout you want to put here is, you want a situation where you were able to create actual your planned hours to say, okay, when we were estimating, after we've started the sprint planning and I created my task, I estimated that it's going to take me 3 hours to do it. And then we also want to create a feed for actual hours. So at first I estimated it was going to take me 3 hours to finish it, but I ended up using 5 hours, or I ended up using 2 hours. So we don't want it to carry a 3 hours, which we know we either use less hours to do or more hours to do. We want that transparency to show on our board. Remember, it's a collaborative tool and it has to be transparent. Whatever you do on it has to be transparent for everyone to see. So when we are in a create a field here, what we want to put is plan hours. Okay, so that is not going to be in identity. We want it in a single text because we're just going to put a number in it. So we're going to leave that as a single text. This is optional, so we don't need to put anything there, or we just want to say to display my planned hours, anything. And then we create that. Okay, so because that has been used before, that is why it's bringing up. You can see that field is already used. So we can say, okay, let me put planned. Yes, we text this. Planned estimated hours. Okay, let's see if it will allow that. Yes, it allowed that. Okay, so you can see that there, planned estimated hours, and the person working on that particular task that has been created is able to put that. So by the time you finish also, you want to put the actual hours that you worked. So you can put, I'm not sure if it's gonna take this one. Let's try. So Again, leave it as single test. You can add your description or you leave it. I hope it will take, okay, to that also. So you can see the planned hours there and then actual worked hours. So anybody looking at this will know, oh, he actually estimated to do 5 hours and then ended up doing maybe 3 hours, or he actually estimated to do 8 hours and then ended up using doing 4 hours or thereabout. Okay, so that is being transparent on that particular work item. Okay, so those are the work items that we want to actually configure over there, because those are the main 3 work items that you will be working with test cases and test plan. I don't want to customize it because it depends on the people, like I said, that are working on it. But QAs, developers, if you need anything customized, talk to your Scrum Master, because they are the administrator of the board. So they would they are the ones that have the permission to be able to do it anyway. So they would be the one to come over here in order to do what needed to be done. Also, you'll be carrying them along if you do that, rather than going behind to do anything on the board. But like I said, permission wise, you might not be able even to do that. Okay, so that is that done. So before we go to the next step, do we have any questions so far? All right. Okay, so we're now going to go on our board so that at least everything we've been doing, you will see. So we're going to the project board configuration itself. Okay, so for us to do that, we need to leave process and go on our project now. So if I click on over here, pick our projects. Now we're coming to this side of the left panel, you know, the tiny one that has different icons. This is where we're coming to, and we're going to click on this green box, this green one over here. That is what we want to click on. So we're going to click on this green one over here. Okay, so you can see it opened up. When I clicked on it, it opened up. And you want to click on not the boards at the top, but the one at the bottom. You can see there are 2 boards. One is the one that has the green tick icon on it, and then the one you're coming to is the little one at the bottom. So once we click on that, it gives us the Teams projects. And you can see everything I've done while we were at the other end. You can see it here. You have the new, you have the approved. It's just that we're going to rearrange it properly. This is not the way it's meant to be rearranged. You have the new, you have the approved, you have in BA, the state we created, BA done, you have committed, you have in dev, you have dev done, you have in QA, you have QA done, you have your in UAT done, you have the active and the close, which you're going to remove, don't worry, and then the done. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go here. Okay, so we go to the right hand side of your page, okay, and then you'll see this cog that looks like a machine, the settings, okay, and you click on that. So that's the configure team setting. So you want to click on that so that we'll do all the configuration that we need to do. So if I click on that, it opens up this box for me. Okay, so on the left side of this box where you have the setting, on the left side over here, you have the board, and then you have the columns. So we're clicking on the columns, yeah, and then we're going to rearrange things. So we know that after the new, so the new is your backlog. That's your product backlog. So when you have new, you'll have it as your product backlog. Okay, some can change it to product backlog, but new means that means that is your product backlog. And we know that what comes after your product backlog is your in BA. So all you need to do to move it, if you click down on that in BA, you can see that the hand thing has changed to that of a cross. So just drag it, approved will move, and then you drop it there. Can you see? And then you do the same for in BA done, because in BA done comes after BA done comes after in BA. So again, click down on it, click down on in BA, and then drag it. The other one moves and then you drop it. So what you're doing right now is to arrange things the way they're supposed to be. So it has to be in BA done. New, in BA done. You have your approved, you have your committed. That's the next one. And after committed, we know it's the developer that picks it to work on in dev done, in QA done, in UAT done. Okay, so these active and close, we're going to delete them because they're not meant to be a column. They're meant to be a state, but they're not meant to be a column. So we're going to delete that. Then, okay, so we're going to be going here. And then the closed one also, just click on these 3 ellipses at the top over here. It gives you a drop down, and then you just do remove. Okay, we don't want those as columns on the board. So that's what we need to do. So just check that everything is okay. So after UAT done, you have the done, which is the completed. Okay, so we're going to go back to in BA. In new, you don't need to do anything. Okay, so the name, if you click on that, the name is new. So in that state, your bug is also new. Your product backlog, the state mapping of it is new. They don't change. If you go to in BA now, because of where we've created it, where we've done things, you can see that your product backlog is in the state of your product backlog automatically is in BA because of where we've gone to set it up. So when stories come into this column, it automatically shows the state as in BA. Remember that we didn't change the bug because BAs don't deal with bugs. So you're just going to leave that the way it is. You don't change it to in BA also, just leave it as new. Okay. And then another thing you want to do is to increase your WIP limit. What WIP limit means is work in progress limit. So if you leave it at 5, if there are more stories in that column, more than 5, it will show red. Okay, so you want to increase that. Let's just increase that to, let's say 15. Your BAs have a lot of stories to work on. We're going to leave that as 15. If you go to, this doesn't have WIP limit because there's your product backlog is where loads of stories come into. But in BA, we're going to leave it at 15 because you can have a lot of stories that they're working on in there. Okay, we've checked the story, we've checked the state mapping. We know it's in the right state, which is in BA. Another thing you will need to add later on is the definition of done. Okay, so when your story is in BA, what is the definition of done for the BAs? Okay, so you put it here, you put that there, which you would have later when you're taking through your team charter, how you create your definition of ready, definition of done. For each role, the BAs will do their own and the other roles will do their own. I'm not going to delve into that so much. I just want to show you what you need to put in this box when you're ready. So you put the team's definition of done, you type it out in here. Okay, so that is that column done. Okay, so we're going to go to the next column, which is in BA done. We're just checking to make sure that what we've done while we were configuring is the right thing. Okay, again, increase the WIP limit here to start to 15 also. We're not splitting the columns into doing and done because we've created different columns for them already. And then if you check the state mapping already automatically because of what we've done in setting is in BA done. Again, like I said, BAs don't work with bugs, so just leave the bug as it is. Again, your definition of done as BA comes into this box, and that is that column also done. And then we go to the approved column. So your approved column also, we need to increase we can increase that to 15 also. Okay. Then, like I said, we don't split it into doing or done. It's just approved. Approved means the sign off. So the PO signs off on the stories that the BAs have written. And once that has met the approval, they move it from BA done into the approved column. That is what that is. And then if you check both the bugs and the products backlog, they are in approved by default, they're in approved there because a bug can be approved upon can be approved to be worked upon during a particular sprint. So the PO can say, oh, let's work on these bugs because they take maybe medium or high priority, and then he's put that in approved so that the team can move it into the sprint that they are going to work on. Okay, so again, what the definition of done means for your PO, you ask your PO tells you, and then you're able to put it here also. Okay, and then we go to the next column, which is your committed column. Okay, so committed, I'm just going to increase it to 10. I won't do 15 because you might not be taking up to 15, but at least we give you the far of 10. You might not be taking the whole 10 in, okay? So we're just giving that column the WIP limit, the work in progress limit that you can have there. We're putting it at 10. We're not splitting it also because it's just the one committed, and you can see that that has both committed over there. Okay, what the definition of done means for either the PO and all that can still be carrying on over here. Okay, and then we go to the other columns. Let me just move the ones we've done away, and then in dev, I'll leave this as 5. Let's just, okay, because the committed has been increased to 10. Let's increase this to 10. Might not up to that really. So you don't have to move in. That doesn't mean all the stories you're moving in has to be 10. We're just saying the limit that you can have there, like max that you can have there is 10. When it's more than that, it will flag up. Okay, so that's why we're putting 10 there as the max that you can have in there. And then when we go to in depth, you can see that the state mapping there for the story is in depth already. Now this is where we want to change our bugs to active. So when the bug is in this column, what we're saying is you want the state mapping to be active. Okay, so the state mapping when the bug is in here will be active. That's what we want to change that to. And then we'll move on to the next column, which is the dev done. Okay, in the dev done also, let's just change all these to 10 if we have more than 5 stories in there. And then you can see that the state mapping for the PBI is already, product backlog item is already dev done. The bug also, we want to put it as active. Okay, and then quickly we go to the in QA column, we change the WIP limit to 10. Our product backlog item is already in QA by state mapping. We want to make this active also in QA when the QAs are retesting the bugs. And then over here also, let's change that limit to 10. Your product backlog item is already in QA done. We would now want to change. Who can tell me what we changed the state mapping for the bug to in QA done? What does it become? Anyone? Hello?
Sorry, what was the question?
What do we change the state mapping of the bug to in QA done column? You know, when it was in dev done, we were putting it as active. When it was in QA, it was still active. But when it's in QA done, what does it change to?
I think it should be approved.
Approved? No?
Closed.
No, it's closed. Closed
because the QA has tested it. For it to move to QA done, what he's saying is I've closed that bug that I've created that was active. Yeah. Okay. And then when you are in UAT, your bug shouldn't go into UAT from QA done, because BAs are not going to carry out UAT test on a bug. They carry out UAT test on a story, not a bug. Okay, so we can just leave it in case it finds its way there. It shouldn't, but in case it finds its way there, let's just leave it as closed. And then, so that means when your bug is in QA done, the next place is going is closed. Then the next place is going from there is done. It's the completed column. So the QA, once it's done, is showing close here. Should actually move it to done. Okay, so over here also in your UAT done also, let's just put it, it shouldn't find its way there, but let's assume it finds its way there. We don't want it to be showing active because it will confuse whoever is saying it. Yeah, and then let's increase the WIP limit, sorry, to 10 over there. I think I missed increasing the WIP limit over here. And also, let me wait on one. Okay, that was done. And then you have the done, which by default doesn't have a WIP limit because that's the last column. That's the completed column. And you can see everything grayed out because that means everything has been completed. Okay, so that's our bud column created. Before we leave this box, the next place we will go into also is the field. Okay, so far, do we have any questions before we move to the next set? Any question here? Okay, all right. So let's go to the field. So at the top of down over here, you have yeah, Amanda, quickly. Go ahead, Amanda. Hello, Amanda. Okay, all right. So over here at the top, you have cards and then you have the field. So everything we're doing right now, I would show you when we go back to the board because we will test them out, okay? So you have your cards, okay, and then you have some different fields that need to go into the cards. So your cards are your product backlog is your card, and then there are some fields that needs to be inside it. So by default, these are the fields that you have inside a product backlog item. These are the fields you have. It will show you it will show the ID, it will show they are assigned to. By default, those are the core fields that has been put there. And for assignee, it wants to show the avatar and also the full name of the person that product backlog has been assigned to. It will show the effort, it will show tags on it, but you can add more fields to it, and that is what we want to use this button to do. So by default, also they've created just one box to show for you, and they've put states inside that already. So we want to create more fields. Okay, so I'm just going to click about 5 so that I don't keep going and coming back to the top over here. Yeah, sorry, just add one more to that. Okay, so when you open the drop down that you have in there, that's when we see all the things that we can add to the field, okay, of our card. Okay, so we can add field like area path. We want the area path to show. Let me just see that we don't have that before. Okay, we don't have that before. So we want to add area path to show in our card field. We can add also, there's assigned to already. So we don't need to add that to it. We can add, you can scroll down so that you can see this is assigned to is there already. You can put bot column if you want. You can put, so let's leave that. Let's go to, we want to put created by. So who created that particular story, we want to put it there. Okay, I think there's effort by default, so we don't, okay, there's effort by default, so we don't need to put effort in. So let's open it again and see what else we can put in. We put created by, we want to see who created that particular story. We want to put our iteration path in there. Okay, that will be showing the sprints that that story is in. We'll put that in, iteration part in. We can also put in, let's see, priority. I'm not sure, let me check. Do we have priority at the top? No, we don't have priority at the top, so we can put priority there. Okay, and then another thing we can put in there, after priority, we can put state is there by default, so we can put work item type to tell you what work item type. If it's a product backlog item, if it's a bug, it will tell you what product backlog item. So there is a little box here that says show empty fields. So what that is saying, if you check this box, if you tick it, what you're saying is, even if any of these fields are empty, you want it to show, okay? That is what that is saying, that even if any of them are empty, you want it to show. And once we've done that, the one we've done is for the product backlog item. You can see that that's the one that is highlighted in blue. So the next one you need to do is the bug. We want to do the bug also. So when we click on the bug, by default also that comes with show ID, show assigned to. It comes by show effort, show tags. So we want to, it shows the first field already puts in states. So we want to click some few fields also, some few boxes, and then we'll see what we add to them. So if you click on the drop down, yeah, for that, we're able to add, let's see, We can add area path to it. We can add a bit of similar thing to what we had before, but you will see where its own is different. Okay, so we want to know who created this bug, created by, yeah, we can put that in. And then another thing we want to put in, we can put in resolved by. Okay, let's go and look for resolved by. So we want to put resolved by who resolved it, who is the developer who resolved it, because you might have more than one developer working. Another thing you want to put in, instead of priority, this one will be severity. So we want to put severity. Is it critical? Is it high? Is it low? Okay, so you can put that in also. And then solved by, some can put the close date. You know, it really doesn't matter if it's closed within the sprint, but if you want to put that in, we might put that in, or we can just put the work item type in so that it's showing the work item type. Okay, so we can just put the work item type in. Again, you check this little box because it has its own little box also, whereby if any of these fields are empty, they are still showing. And then we will go, once we go and try out some samples, you're able to see what we're doing. Okay, so once all that has been done, you save and you close. Okay, so you can see the 15 that we changed the WIP limit to. It was 5 before, it now has 15. Okay, so when all the BAs are adding their stories, if they add more than 15 stories, let's assume they add 20 stories in here, the top here, which will carry the 20, will be showing red. It means it's overloaded. That column is overloaded more than what has been set as the work in progress limit that needs to be there. And you can see that for all the ones you have at the top over here. Okay, you have that there. All right, so we're just going to create, which we'll delete later on. Normally, please, this is not where you create your work item from. Okay, so maybe let me do the right thing. Okay, so to create the story, yeah, I'm going to go to backlog because that's where the BAs create their stories from. I'm going to go to backlog because we just want to have a proper. So when we come to the backlog over here, I'm just going to close this planning. And then I'm going to change this to Epic because you start your story building from Epic. So right now we want to create an Epic. And then so what you do is you click on this new work item. Once you click on that, you put your story in there. So I'm going to put training in there as an Epic. And then I'll click at the top. And then if the next thing I need to create is a feature to that. Please, if you're not talking, can you stay muted, please? Thank you. So we want to create a feature to that. So once you click on, okay, so I'm going to close this again. So to create a feature to this Epic, we've created an Epic now. Yeah. So once you create your Epic, if we open it, you say what that Epic is all about. You give it a description. What your Epic is all about. You put your description there. You put what the acceptance criteria for that Epic is going to be. You put it in there. So once that is done, if I put anything here, let me just say, I'm just going to leave it at that, just for you to see what you will open when you put anything here. You save and close. Okay, and then once that has been done, you come over here, you click on this plus beside the Epic at the start of that Epic. Okay, it shows something that I want you to see before. So if you hover over it before you click on it, you can see it says add feature. So if you click on that plus, you're able to create a feature to that. Okay, so I can make that feature to be, I can call it Azure DevOps training. Okay, again, you put what the description of that feature is there. Highlight is high level description that you put in there, and then you're able to save and close. Okay, you can see that this now becomes a parent to this. You can see that they're not standing on the same side. It has gone in. And this arrow over here, if I click on it, it hides it. You can see it's hidden. That arrow wasn't there before we created the feature, okay? So that's the feature. And now if you want to create a PBI against that feature, you come over here also. It says add product backlog item or a bug. So you can add a product backlog item or you can add a bug, okay? So if I click on that and I choose a product backlog item, let's call the name of this product backlog item bot setup, project bot setup. So if you call it, and this is where it is, this is where you do your story, and then you know your description, your acceptance criteria, everything. Once you're doing your class, you'll be told that. Okay, so once you do that, yeah, you can see that that is coming underneath the feature. Now the feature has its own arrow also. So if I close that, it hides the story, and if I close the whole thing, it hides the whole thing. It hides the whole feature and the story under this particular epic. So that is the navigation that we did, the configuration for linking the epic to the feature to the story. Okay, so this feature now, just because of what I want to show us on the board, I'm just going to create a bug because I need it on the main board to show us something. So this bug, if I create it and say, what name can I give this bug now? Can say bug properly set up. Okay. And then the normal information that are going to be there. Again, keywords, you'll be taught what you need to put in your bug, and then we will close that. So this is under Epic. That's where you create your Epic. Okay, and then you can open it up and you can see it this way. Right. So if I close all this up, so that is the Epic. If you come over here, you can see the navigation Epic to feature to backlog item. So if we go to feature now, we won't see the epic because you are in the feature page now. You'll be seeing the feature and all the things that are underneath the feature. Okay, and then if we go to backlog, you won't see your feature. What you'll be seeing is the product, the backlog item and the bug that has been created. Now I'm going to view as a bot, because all the configuration we've done to fields, I want you to be able to see it. Now, those are all the fields that we added. Okay, there should be more of it there. Those are all the fields that we added when we were at the configure state. You know, the state is new, you can see. The area path is showing you, that's the name of the project as the area path created by, you can see my name there. So the BA that creates this will be the one showing there, because we're not in any sprints now. That's why the iteration is not showing anything. Remember, we told while we were setting it up, we clicked on that empty, show empty field, even if it's empty. You know, that's why you're seeing it there. The priority you can see is 2, and the work item is saying is a product backlog item. If you go to the bug, you can see that's the bug we've created. It's showing new area path created by, it's showing resolved by, because nobody has resolved it here. It's saying unassigned. The severity is picking it as 3, and then you can see the work item type. Now, if we move this story along, let's just move it from to see what we will have. Okay, you can see the state is no longer in new. This one is still new because of the column it's in. You can see this has changed to MBA, and if you move it on and on, this is how it's going to be changing the states to all the columns that you have. Okay, and that is the configuration that we've gone to do. Okay, you can see it's changing as we go along. And what this helps you to do is, once you're looking at all these stories in the sprint, this, when the stories are in the sprint, it will be able to tell you the state at which that story is on the main board. So this is your main board. This is your sprint. Your sprint won't show anything right now because we've not created any sprint yet. But once your sprint has been created and you're looking at the story over here, what you'll be seeing is the state. And then you can use that to run your daily stand-up to say, oh, I noticed the state of the story is in QA, it's been there for maybe a day or two. You'll be able to run your daily stand-up properly. And that's why we need to put the state in, because you won't be running your daily stand-up on this board. You'll be running it on your sprint. And if we keep moving it along, that is what you'll be seeing. It will be changing to whatsoever that board column is. Sorry, bear with me. Just want to move this to the end. It keeps changing. Yeah, in UAT. Okay, so let me take it back a bit so that I need to show you where it moves from gray to blue. So when it's in approved, it's still gray. You can see the state is still gray. But when it's committed, what it says is in progress. This work we've committed to it, you can see that has changed to blue. And then when it moves on, it keeps on being blue because it's still in progress. It has not been completed yet. Even though the developer has finished what he needs to do, there's still people to work on it. So it's still showing blue, telling you it's still in progress, and it keeps doing that, keeps doing that, keeps doing that on all the columns until it gets to done. Once it gets to done, that blue changes to black, green. And your green means that it is completed. Okay, so I'm going to move the bug, but the bug, I'm not going to let it stay in all these other ones. I'm just going to move it to committed. Okay, so once it's committed, it's still showing blue because it's committed, but it's not active yet. And then once it gets to in QA, it's changed to active. You can see the states changing to active. Okay, and then once you move it from there, it goes to dev done, it's still active. In QA is still active because that's the way we've configured it to be. And then who can tell me what it will change to when it gets to QA done? Anyone?
Light green.
Green.
Green, but what name will it be? Will it still be light green active?
It will be light green close.
Thank you. It will be light green close because that was what we configured it to be. And once it's closed, if the QA doesn't move it to done, to the completed column, over here, what you as a Scrum Master can do is just to confirm, knowing maybe whosoever, let's assume that Laomi is the one working on this. Let me put, okay, or Bolu. Let's assume Bolu is a QA that is working on it. So once it's in closed and all that, then Laomi, who is the Scrum Master, will just check with Bolu. Oh, Bolu, I noticed the bug is closed now in QA done. Is everything done on it? Oh yes, we finished what we need to do on it and everything, and then we just move it from there to done. Okay, so if Bolu is the one that worked on it, if it was resolved by, let's assume DG is the developer that resolved it, yeah, we're able to put. Okay, so it's not picking that. Okay, yeah. See, so that is the person that created it. That is the QA. Okay, so if we say Bolu is the one that worked on it, let's assume Bolu is the one that created it. Also, it won't allow because I was the one that created it. Okay, so I can create it. Bolu can retest it, and then the developer that worked on it. So it gives you all the information that you need over here on it. Okay, so that's how you move it. And then by the time it's done over here, what you can do is just to move it, drag it along. So two ways you can move your stories along the board. You can either drag it or you can open the state. If I click on the state, open it, I can click on done, and then you can see it's moving to done. So you can either drag it or open it or click on where you want it to go, and then it moves there. Okay, quickly for the story, I'm going to take it back to the beginning because there's the assigned also. We need to understand what we have when we have assigned. So we're going to assume that Laomi is the BA on this particular story. So it was in new initially, And then when Naomi picked it up to work on it, Naomi is going to assign this story to herself. Okay, just let me type her name. Should be able to bring it up. Okay. So Naomi is the BA writing the story on this particular story. So when she finished writing the story, she moves it to be done. The PO comes, reviews it, and said, "Oh, it's good to go. Everything that needs to be in it is in it." And then that moves it. The PO moves it to approved. When we're doing the sprint planning, we do the sprint planning over it. We do the estimation on it. We put the estimation on it, and once that is done and everything, let's assume it was estimated that's going to be a 5-pointer. That's just an assumption. Okay, so once that is done, oh, the team commits to it. Are we able to commit to this story? Yes, we're able to commit to it. You can work on it. You move it into your committed column. Okay, when the developer picks on it to work, once it's in dev, the developer is going to come here and change the name. So we've assumed that Deji is a developer. So he changes it to Deji. So it moves away from Olawumi, who is the BA, because he's no longer in our jurisdiction anymore. She's finished what she needed to do. It's moved on. Deji is the one working on it right now. So once Deji finished whatever he's doing in this particular story, he moves it to dev done. Okay, Deji doesn't move it into in QA, he moves it to dev done. And what dev done is telling the QA is, I finished what I need to do. You guys need to pick it up and work on it. Okay, so Bolu comes here, picks it and put it in QA to work on it. Bolu is going to change this and assign it to herself. Okay, because Deji has finished his own work on it, is now Bolu's turn to work on it. So Bolu is going to change the assigned to herself, because she has been assigned to work on this story. And then when she finished working on the story, also she's tested it, everything is passing, she moves it to QA done. Okay, and then from QA done, whosoever creates the story out of the BA, so the BA might be the one carrying out the UAT, it might be the PO, depending on what has been agreed by your team, picks it up from here and then moves it into UAT. Carry out UAT on it. Once it's finished, put it in UAT done. Okay, the Scrum Masters might need to check some things, which maybe later on your mentors would guide you through why the BAs normally don't move it from in UAT to done. There are times when the BAs are working on it, tasks are created against the stories, which you'll be seeing over here. Okay, so all right, this is not the right way to do. I don't want to do it the wrong way for you, even though I want to show you something. Okay, so once that has been done and it's put in UAT done, as a Scrum Master, you're coming, you're looking at that story, you're checking the tasks that are on it. If there are 3 tasks that has been created on that particular story, you're making sure it's showing 3/3, meaning all 3 tasks on it has been completed. The BA won't do that. The BA just wants to do the UAT to make sure that, to test that what is in the acceptance criteria is aligning with what is on the website. Okay, so you check to make sure, oh, everything is there. There are times when it's in UAT done and you're having 2/3. So that means a particular task has not been carried out, or it has been carried out. The person that did it had not moved their story on the sprint to done. And that is why it's showing 2/3. Now, if you allow your BAs to move it from UAT to done, they will move that story across. And you're not able to, because if you don't check it, then you don't know to confirm from that person whose task is still live, if actually they've carried out what they needed to do or not. Okay, so that's why normally I create the UAT done, let the BA put it there, and then you, the Scrum Master, do an overall check on that story to make sure everything, every T is crossed, every I is dotted. And then once you've done that, you've checked that, you can move it to done, to the completed column for that particular story. Okay, so before we go ahead, any question, we need to quickly look at the dashboard also before we round off tonight. Any questions so far? Okay, quickly, I'm going to go back to the project setting because we didn't configure our dashboard.
So I'm sorry, just want to ask a quick question about the story. The QA and the DA, what actually are they going to be doing? Because before they start moving it from one column to the other, is it by checking that everything is written, I mean, accordingly that is supposed to be written, or they are correctly? No, I'm a Scrum Master.
Okay, so they will be taught what they need to do on a particular story, yeah, during their QA section. So they will know what to do. QAs are testers. They test what the developers have done, yeah. So during their own training session, they will be told what they need to do on a particular story. Once they get the story, what they need to do on it and how they can do it, yeah. Yours is to make sure that any task they've created has been worked on and has been moved on accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so quickly, let's just quickly configure our dashboard, because we need to create a dashboard. So we want to come here. By default, everything is not enabled. Okay, so you want to enable, you want to be able to create a dashboard. So you click on this toggle so that it enables it, and then you want to be able to edit your dashboard. So you click on that, also you enabled it. The one I want to advise you to click on is the delete dashboard. If you enable that, a team member might mistakenly delete your dashboard, everything that has been configured or created on your dashboard. So leave that, don't enable that. You leave it the way it is disabled, leave it at that. So these are the two things that we want to enable. Okay, so quickly we're just going to go back to our board and then see how you create your dashboard. So right now, to create your dashboard, we're going to go on overview. Okay, at the top of the green one. So the blue one is the overview. And remember, the green one is the one that leads you to all the bots. Okay, so for overview, we want to click on your overview. Yeah, and then click on dashboards. So when you go on your dashboard, okay, so because we've not created any dashboard, and we want to create a new dashboard for our team, our project. Okay, so we want to create a dashboard for our project. If we click on overview, we've enabled it to be able to create. We want to add, see, it says this dashboard doesn't have any widgets yet. So we want to add widgets to it. So if you click on two ways, you can add widgets to it. You can either click on edit, or if it's a new dashboard, you can also click on add widget. So if you click on edit, the same thing you're seeing now is the same thing you will see when you click on add widget. So what are the things you want to add to it? You want to add a burn down chart to it. You click on that, click on add. Okay. On your widget, you want a burn up chart. You click, once you highlight it, then you click on add at the bottom over here. You want to add, let's do the basic ones first. Okay, you want to add your, as another sprint burn down. They all have different functionality. You want to add your sprint capacity, you add that. Most of these would be blank for now until you actually have a sprint. Remember, we don't have a sprint yet, but you just want to create it. You want to add your sprint goal with widget, you add that to it also. You want to see your sprint overview, you add that to it also. You want it to be able to show your team members their initials or their names, you add that to it also. Your velocity, that's another metrics chart you need to put on your dashboard. So add that to it also. And whatsoever you can't see, you want, or you can't see in this list, all you need to do is to go to the extension gallery. That is the marketplace for Azure. So when you click on that, it brings you to the marketplace. This is the marketplace. And then anything, you type in whatever you want to see on your board. You type it into there, it brings it up for you. You pick the free version, and then you're able to add it to it. So we're not adding anything, but I just want to see, let's assume we want to add this to it. I'm going to cancel it later on. So if you click on that, it's going to tell you to install it. And then if you click on install, it's going to install it on the organization. Okay, so if you click on that, it's going to add it to the organization, not just your project alone. Okay, so before it adds, it shows you what that widget you fit, what it can do, what you can use it to do. Those are all the information that it's giving you at the bottom over here. If you've checked it, you feel, oh, okay, so my team needs this and everything. After looking at the review, then you're able to install it. But because we're not installing this particular, this is just to show you in case you want a widget that you want to add to your own project, and then you're able to pick it. But it won't be just you alone enjoying this, because you're adding it to the organization. Is every other project that are on that board that will be able to enjoy that. So what I'm going to do is just to go back to the project, because we really don't need that. And then once you've done adding everything you want to add, what you do is you click on done editing at the top over here, highlighted in blue. You click on that, it's going to close that panel. If you want to open it again, like I said, all you need to do is just click on edit and it will open it. You add whatever you want to add. If you're done and you want to close it, just click on done editing and then it closes that. And then you're able to configure. These are all the things that I clicked on that was added. These are everything. Yeah, it says no goal set yet, but you can see all my team members that are added to my team. You can see everybody here. You can see Olaomi, you can see Pat, you can see Abimbola, you can see Deji, Bolu, and you can see myself there. You need to add any team member, just click on this top here, add user, you're able to add also, but it's better to add your user, at the right place. This is the same thing, but it's better from the right place. Okay, so that is your dashboard created and your widgets added to your dashboard. Okay, quickly also, we're just going to look at your wiki page, which also comes under your overview, right? And because you don't have a sprint yet, I don't want to go into the configure aspect of your chart. But normally once you're in sprints and you want to configure it, okay, I'm going to close this again so that I'll show you what I clicked on. So when you want to, this one is open already, so I'm going to leave this one and go to the next one so that you see how you're able to put it. So at the right hand corner of each chart, if you go there, once you over it, it comes up over here. So you're clicking on the ellipsis again, you can see more action when you hover over it, and then you click on it, and then it says configure. You're able to click on the configure, and then you're able to configure that particular chart, whatever you want its name to be. If I want to reduce it from the width and the length, I can reduce it to 3. You can see it's reducing. And then the height also, I can reduce it to 2. You can see it's being smaller. Okay, so you can see the team's name there already. Whatever item you want to pick is the product, because it's the burn up, is the backlog items that you leave on it. Okay, and then you're able to, you want it to count, what do you want to see on it? How do you want it to burn? So if it is count of work items, you leave it at that. You set the date. There's some advanced settings over here also. You want it to show burn up, you want it to show total scope, you want it to show remaining work, you want it to show plots completed by using a particular color. As you can see here, it's picking another project. That's why it's doing this, because it has not been properly configured and all that. So you're able to pick that also, and then you save it. So whatever you configure, by opening up these 3 ellipses and clicking on configure, it configures it over here for you. Okay, all right, and that's the way you do all the other ones. For your sprint goal, you don't need to configure anything here. Once you set your sprint and you put the sprint goal there, there is a toggle there that you enable. All right, let me go there quickly and show you. Once you enable that, just to show you here, once you enable that when you're in sprint, then that's automatically set your sprint goal. So most of your dashboard item widgets, they are real time. Whatever you do on your board, real time, it just shows here. You don't have to come here to configure, to add anything. It's real time. It will pick it from the board and then be showing it over here on your dashboard, on the widgets that you've put on your dashboard. Okay, all right, so we want to check the wiki out. We want to set our wiki also. The wiki is where you put, is like your information storage space, where you put all the information that has to do with your project. Okay, and as you can see, it's saying that right now there is no wiki there, so it says create project wiki. So I'm going to click on create project wiki. Okay, and I'm going to name it. I'm going to give it the name of the team. I'm going to say 2023 J. 2023 J. Project, and I'll save it over here in this corner. Once I do save and I close it, so after saving, it tells me it's saved, and then I close it over here. You can see that's our wiki page. That's the home page created. If I need to create more page on that, I come to the 3 ellipses beside that home page we have. I click on it and then I add sub page. For a sub page, I can put same information. This will have all the information of your team, the project mandates, the project overview, the project's mission. You can put it there. You can put the team roles and the team members' names and their roles and everything. You can put it here. So if this is our project now, I can say, this is just to show you how it will look when you finish. It is the PO, okay, and then say, all right, let me put, okay, and then I'll put PAD as the project sponsor. Normally your project sponsor doesn't form part of your Scrum team, but you can, it's part of the information. You can put them there on your project if you know them. So let's assume you know your project sponsor wants to be our project sponsor. Normally that should be above the PO. So I'm just going to change that and let part be at the top, and then I'll make it the PO, and then I'll make allow me can be the SM, and then blue is the A, and then Dimbola is the developer. Normally you just leave it at dev. Okay, what else do we have on the project? Okay, so I'm trying myself. I put myself as the way. Okay, so that you just, and you can see this is the back end of your wiki. Once you're adding things to the back end of your wiki, it's showing in the front end. So if I save and close, I'm saving it right now. And if I close it, you won't see the back end anymore. What you'll be seeing is the front end. So you have the same information there. You have you can, if you want another page again, just click on the 3 ellipses beside your home page, yeah, and then do add sub page, and then you can have that as it's just right now repository. You can create a repository for your BAs where they put all their information in. You save, and if we close that, you can see that the pages, so in as many pages that you want, you can create a page for your team charter. You can create a page for Scrum things where you share Scrum information with your team members, like the Scrum values, Scrum principles, and all that. You create that. So it's a library of information for your team. That is what your wiki page is. And you can, they're all open now. You can collapse all of them together to be in there. And then when you want to see all of them, you can just click on this and then it shows you all the drop down. Okay, that is how you create your wiki page. If you need to edit any of the pages, let's assume, oh, I want to edit information over here. All you do is come to the right corner at the top here, click on edit. It gives you back that view of the back end and the front end, and then you're able to edit anything. Or if you need to add more information, maybe I need to add the project mandate, which is we can make that project mandate. save again. Okay, before I say, okay, I'm going to close and then I'll come back. I'll edit it again because there's some things I need to show us. So let's assume I want to, let me show me that, okay. Is to train on Azure DevOps. You can see it will do the correction for you. And then I just need to highlight this. I click on the B to highlight it if I want to it in italics. So all my bold and italics won't show at the back end here. It will be giving you the code that would make that show in the front end over here. And you can see that if I want all the rows to be highlighted, to be bold, I can do that. So you have some functions at the top there that you can use also. You can add documents, you can attach documents, you can add links to things. That's for you to add attachment. If I want to pick a file from my folder, I'm able to bring that in. If you want to create a table option, you can see, you can create that over there and it will be showing on it. And there are more actions, more options that you have there. You can do table of content, you can do table of subpage, you can add video, all the things. If you want to run a query results, you can add all of them there. And also there's a link, that's a link. If you want to add a link from somewhere, you can click on the link and then to add it to it, you can see, okay? If you had to add a link over there, you can see that over there. So you need to, features up here, you're able to use them to do it. If you want to do numbering, let's put that down. If you want to do numbering, you can see it's doing that. If you want to do bullet points or line, it's doing that. You can see over there. So whatsoever you want to do, you have all these options. If you over it also, it will tell you what it can do. All right, you're able to add those ones onto it with your wiki page. So you have all those features there for that. So I'm just going to close this. So that's how you create your wiki page, and that's how you add information and all that to it. You also have the option of adding comments to any information page you open. But if you want to add comments to it, you're able to add comments to it and everything to say, oh, that's not like that. Oh, I've done this and everything, and be able to, once I type, let me just type anything. You can see the add column there, showing, be able to add that to whatsoever that is in that particular page. So I'm just going to cancel that because I don't intend to add anything to it. So that's that over there. So that's your wiki page done. So do we have any questions before we go to the last bit? So the last bit is just to show you how you create your okay, so we're going to go to, oh, we have it already here. So the last bit is just to show you some things we have on the under the board. Also, you have your retrospective. So if you want to create your retrospective to run your retrospective meeting, if you come over here, okay, so you just click on new retrospective. Yeah, it gives you this board, and then you put the name of your what retrospective you're running. So if it's for sprint 1 or for sprint 0, let's say for sprint 0, because that's the sprint where no retrospective. So let's just say sprint 1. And then who is the facilitator, who is facilitating that particular retrospective, you're able to pick it. So we said Laomi is the Scrum Master, we're able to put it there. Who are the participants, you're able to pick your participants. We want to pick Bolu. Also, we want to pick another person. We want to pick Deji to be there. We want to pick Abimbola to be there. All right, where is Abimbola now? Okay, Abimbola is up here. All right, and then if you want the keyword also to be there, who is Moji, you're able to put them there. And then it says select format. If you pick over here, it's you're able to pick any format that you want to use. Is it at the what went well, what didn't go well, what can be approved? You're able to pick it there. So number of no vote limits. If there are no vote limits, you just want them, to vote, have unlimited votes and all that. If you click on that, you're able, no, if you want them to vote, not no vote limit. If you want them to vote, if you enable that, and then you're able to pick, you want each member to have at least 8 votes, you want each member to have at least 10 votes, you're able to pick it there. Also, if you want to use the team mode, you don't have to, but if you want to use it, you enable that also, and then it's going to ask you, it has about 4, you can leave all 4 questions there, or any one of them that you don't want, you can, you can delete out. How fun was the sprint? If you want them to answer that question, how satisfied are you with your performance this sprint? You can leave that. How do you rate your team's ability, collaboration? You can have that. So once you have all that, you create your new retrospective, and you can see that is the team mode first, being able to do the team mode. You can see all the team members that have been added to it. And once this has been completed, it moves to the next one, it moves to the next one, it moves to the next one. That is one type of retrospective board that you have. Then there's another one. So I'm just going to go through the different ones we have. That with me, my sorry about this. Okay, so this is another type of retrospective rates board again. So this one asks you again the title, you put the sprint there. So you can put retro or sprint 1. Again, the maximum number of votes that you want for each member, you can put 8, you can put 10, you put it there. If you want to include the team's assessment, you put it there. If you don't want to include it, all you need to do is to uncheck that box. You can see the tick goes out of there. Okay, if you want to obscure the feedback of others until after collect, which you don't really need to do, because as team you have to be open so people can see what people have typed there. If you don't want the name, okay, do not display names in feedback. You can remove that. If you don't want it to display the name of the person that posts it, because you want people to freely, put their entries into the retrospective. You can remove it. You can put it if your team is matured enough, to take some comments and all that, which is where you're going to, the stage you would get to at a particular point. You're able to put that. And then the display retrospective prime directive, you can leave that on, you can remove it, it's up to you. And then you come down here to pick the template that you want. So by default, it gives you the what went well, what didn't go well. Yeah, if you click on the drop down over here, you can select any other one. Drop, keep. What do you want to drop? What do you want to keep? What do you want to add? What do you want to improve on? To have all that there. What it was good during the sprint, what was bad? Any ideas? What are you mad about during the sprint? What are you sad about? What are you glad about? So you have different templates to be creative about what do we want to start? What do we want to stop? What do we want to continue? You have all of them there. So, but like I said, let's keep to sorry. Ooh, what did I do? I'll wait out of it. Okay. I need to start again. Sorry about that. Okay, for the parts that I've just spoken about, I'm just going to okay. That is not displaying it. Okay, so if you want to pick this template that is already there by default, what went well, you need to add more columns to it. So you have what went well, what didn't go well, and then you can see add column. So if you click on add column, then you can customize more columns, and let's make this one improvement. Let's talk about improvement. Okay, and then you want to also add another column for action plan. What is the action plan that we want to put in place for our improvement? So if we do that also, we're able to add action plan column in there. Okay, and then all these faces you have here, you can, if you click on the emojis over here, you can change it. So for what went well, definitely you want to have a smiling face, and you can see for what didn't go well, it already has a sad face, and it has red for the color, and this has green for the color. So for improvement, you can pick anything. It can be dialogue, can pick the dialogue icon. Yeah, you can pick another color. You can pick a blue color for that. And then when you come to action plan, you write down action plan. So you can either pick a computer, you can pick a notebook, it all depends what you want to pick there. And then you can pick another color for that. You can pick this color. So that means anything that is written there would be showing those colors on the side. That's what that means. And once you've done that, you just do save, and then you can see your board being created. So those are the columns that we created. What went well, what didn't go well, improvement, action plan. And when you click on the plus sign, it gives you a box. You can see this is the one we made green. So you can see the green on the side, and you're able to put the comments there. If you click on this one, this is the red for what didn't go well. You put your comment in there. If you click on this one, that is the one we put the blue for, and you can put your comment in there. If you click on this one, this is where we put the orange one, and then you can put the action plan there. So you don't normally write in the action plan. The whole team deliberates, and then the facilitator is the one that puts the action plan that the teams have agreed to work on in the next sprint. Put it there. So that is another kind of retrospective board that you have. So you have two, then you can, work on anyone that you feel comfortable with, or you can try any one of them. You can use one sprint to, use one template, and then you can use another sprint to use another one, just to kind of get yourself used to both of them, see how both of them works. And that is the end of our Azure board setup for tonight. Okay, so quickly, in the next 10 minutes, let's use the next 10 minutes to talk about any questions that we might have. Do we have any questions, or everyone is asleep on me?
Hi.
Question.
Sorry, what is the difference between the two retrospectives and the two? We have two of it there.
Yeah, so the only difference I can see is for the first one we created, it has the mode, the team's mode. Okay, which you want to get. What is the mode of the team? While the other one doesn't have that, just has the column, and then you're able to. That was the first one we created that has the mode. So once you finish with the mode, that's when it goes to, you can see that's the first one. It's okay. So maybe if I do this, I'll just be the only one that will do this. If I pick how fun is the sprint? If it's very fun, I'll pick that one. Then how satisfied am I about the sprint, about my performance? Not so good. I'm not so, if you just pick what's the team's ability, collaboration, and you put in the sprint, how would you rate it? How would you rate the team's ability, collaboration, and joint effort? I can just pick a smiling face again. I can pick a happy face. And then how satisfied are you with the output of the sprint? Yeah, if you pick that one also. I know that if I say I'm finished, I don't know if it will allow. So it's just one person. That's why it is not going to the next section, because it's just one person. You can see one participant finished out of everyone. But if everybody has been able to complete it, it will go to the next one. And then you're just able to fill it up and all that. So that's just the difference. This one moves from, if one is not completed, you won't go to the next one. But however, in the other one that we see, what I'm feeling doesn't disturb me from, if somebody else is not filling that column, it doesn't disturb me from going to the next one. I'm just, if I fill this one now, doesn't mean if everybody that is on it doesn't fill this one, it won't allow me to go here. So I'm able to go into this one, fill this one, fill what I think is improvement, and I'm done with what I need to fill. That's just a few difference there.
Thank you.
Any other question? I hope that is clear.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions?
Hello.
Okay, so I think yeah. Any other person?
Yeah, hello. I want
Hi.
to ask, the voting page, why do they need to vote?
Okay, so during your retrospective, you might have a situation. Okay, so let's assume we fill this column up, we've filled this what didn't go well up, and then we've also had a lot of improvements that we've put here. So we have about maybe 7 improvements here. We can't take all 7 improvements to action in the next sprint. It will be too much, isn't it? Yeah. So you want to vote to say that, okay, out of all these improvements, let's vote which one should we take in, and then it might be the one that has the highest vote. So everybody starts using their votes to vote. Oh, I vote that we should take this one in. I vote that, and then you might have one that has 10 votes. You might have one that has 6 votes and all that. Even after the voting, you as a team will still deliberate that, okay, so we've picked this one to be 10, but really, is it priority? I think this is priority over that one. You deliberate again, and then you make a decision what you want to, action.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where you vote. Another reason why you vote, you can vote on your what didn't go well, and why you're putting your vote there is just saying that I agree with that particular point, not that because you want to take it into your action plan. It might just be you agreeing on that particular point that, oh, instead of me writing this again that somebody has written, I can just agree on it. But mainly your vote is for you to vote what you want to action on from your improvement column.
Okay. Yeah. So another question is this training section.
Yes.
Is it for Scrum Master now? Because we didn't really
normally we used to do this training we used to do it for Scrum Masters alone initially, because like I said, they are the administrator of the board, and then they now coach their team members. But we've had situations where that doesn't go through, so we thought it will benefit every team member to understand how the board works, to understand the movement from one journey to the other on the board. And that was why I went through all that. That was why I went through the navigation process, so that the people that are going to work on the navigation, create the story and all that, they know how they're going to do it. They're going to still have an in-depth training from their own tutors. The BAs will have in-depth training on how to create the stories and everything from their tutors. The keyways also, that was why in-depth question that has to do with keyways, you can see earlier on, I wasn't addressing it because they're still going to have trainings on how to run a test with a story. That's not the scope for this training. It's just so everybody understand how your project board works.
Okay. Yeah, because I can the way I'm looking at him, like, oh, I can actually create this board.
And you're not a Scrum Master, isn't it?
No, I'm a QA.
Okay, yeah, but because you have an idea of how it works. By the time you start working on it, you have an understanding of what you're doing or what is being done, why what is moving where.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the whole essence of having everyone join in this training, rather than just the Scrum Masters who are going to create and configure the board.
Yeah, it's actually good. No knowledge is waste. Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, thank you. That's all. And well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? 3 minutes more, but we have to stop by 11. Okay, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay, I'm sorry to bother you because this phone is like taking you out of context completely. I'm just joining for the first time today. Okay. I'm wondering if there's any way I can catch up with what's been done since Monday to date.
Okay, so all right, let me put it this way. What team are you on?
Well, I just picked up one tonight, Platinum.
Okay, so you've not been put on a project per se.
No, not at all.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
So once you get a DM, because I think you were the one that Laomi said you should reach out to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's gonna put you on a project. Once you get on your project, on your platform, you'll be put on a Telegram platform for your team. Reach out to your Scrum Master and let your Scrum Master onboard you. That's part of your Scrum Master's responsibility. So they're going to onboard you, tell you what your project is all about, tell you what what has been done since. So that's called onboarding. So your Scrum Master will onboard you to the project. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
Hi, Moji.
Yes.
Sorry, it's me again. One more question. Do you think it's worth it for QA to start practicing this training section?
How to create a project board?
Yeah.
Okay, so as QA, you won't create a project board, like I said earlier when we started the session. But like I said, we did it so that you understand the board. Okay. So initially what you would have is the BAs, the QAs and maybe some of the BAs will be lost. What do I need to do? How I don't understand what the board is saying. Why is this one like this? Why is it one like that? That's why we've had everyone be part of this so that you have an understanding. So okay, from what you're saying now, you're a QA, but because you've gone through the training now, you can create a board, isn't it? But it's not your jurisdiction to create a board. It's just so you have an understanding of how the board works.
Yes. Okay, so we don't really need to practice it.
No, it's not your. I would say more of the Scrum Masters practicing it. So Scrum Masters, you can create your own personal one, okay, and work on it, because you're just going to create one. But so if you have 5 Scrum Masters in a team, you can all meet together. One person takes the lead to create your board. So you're not going to have 5 Magnum projects, because you're 5 Scrum Masters there. You just need one project board.
One person.
And one person. So you can all meet to do it together, but definitely one person will be sharing their screen and then they'll be creating it. But wait to do that once you've been added to Teams and you've all been, Laomi has shown you how to generate a link and Teams and everything. And then Scrum Masters should do that. You watch the video again, and then you all come together to be able to create your project board.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, please. One question, please. Is this all you've done tonight? Is it the work of a Scrum Master to do all of this from the beginning to the end?
So there are some things there that I showed. Like I said, if it's just Scrum Masters alone that I was having this training with, there were some things I wouldn't show that will be out, like the navigation from Epic to feature to product backlog. That is for the benefit of the BAs, because they are the ones that write the stories and create the stories. But Scrum Masters, definitely, you need to know everything. You need to know how because you are the one that sets up that board. You are the one that has configured that navigation for them to be able to suit your team, so that the BAs are able to do that. So from the top to the beginning, if you are a Scrum Master, yes, you need to know it. You are the administrator of that board, so you need to know everything. Okay, so we've gone 1 minute past 11. So I want to thank everyone for joining the session.
Hello, Moji. Hello, Moji.
Yes. Last
Sorry,
question.
as a BA, are we going to have a separate training as far how to create all these epic pictures? All right, then.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Your BA tutor will take you through how to do that.
All right, then.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks for your patience tonight. Thanks for joining the session. It's recorded. Laomi, can you please help us stop the recording, please? Thanks.
Would you repeat yourself?
Can you stop the recording, please? Thanks.